Gotta. So this is a bit of a different one. I was just doing a bit of doom scrolling on Reels, unfortunately. But I got a sponsored ad from The Warehouse, funnily enough, the Waddy Fuddy. And they had this kind of cool effect. Let me pull up my Premiere. They had kind of a cool effect there where, okay, there it is. They kind of a cool effect you see above my head right now. There we go. Shout out to Abortland. Good meme page, but I'll show you here. So advertising books or some shit, I don't care, but I thought it was kind of fun. So they, cross zoom in, moves it forward. I'll play the whole thing in its entirety. Okay, so what I think they've done and what I'm going to try and recreate is, obviously that's just a transition, just a speed slide in transition. Raises up the book and she stays quite still, which I think is important. Moves her hand forward. They've added some motion blur on the book, or even just keyframed. No, it's the zoom in with the hand holding the book. So that this hand holding a book is obviously like a separate layer. They've cut that out and then done like a motion blur and scaled it up. They've scaled it up, motion blur, and then they've done some kind of camera shake, or at least just a bit of movement on that PNG. So it looks like it's still connected to her movement with the hand moving there. And then this PNG, wait, I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see that. Yeah, they've done something there and then maybe even scaled it, matched the scaling. But yeah, I'm going to try and recreate that. So what do we do? Well, obviously the video. Do the video and cut out the PNG of the hand holding the book. It's probably shot on tripod, and then what they do is they add movement or a bit of camera shake after the fact. Just way easier for effects. So I'll do that. I'll take the video still, but add some camera shake. And that's probably it. It sounds easier than it probably actually is. I'm going to give it a go. And then obviously the motion blur. I think there's just like presets in Premiere to do that motion blur, hopefully. I don't really want to go into After Effects because my laptop hates it. But yeah, let's give it a go. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to take that video just with a random book I've got and see if we can recreate that. Be right back. All right, we're back. Recorded on my phone. The lighting is munted, so we'll see what we can do. We'll chuck that on the time. Change the sequence settings so it's mobile. 9:16 aspect, I think it is. Yeah, it's just me yapping for ages. This is meta. I feel like that sketch in Bo Burnham where he's like, it's like a streamer watching a streamer watching a streamer. It just goes forever.
It's basically that what I'm doing is I'm explaining what the song means.
Anyway, I was yapping and trying to figure out what she actually did. I think we'll go from here. Go from here. But just with that lighting being a bit funky, I could have used one of the ring lights, but Seebs. So we'll pull up Lumetri Color. It's just the basic one I use to just do any light stuff. Basic correction. See if we can just do a little bit of exposure. Make it a little brighter. Yeah, that's not great. Because it was dark, you can't really even see the album cover. It's an album because my books are packed up, so it's just a CD. But that might do. So that color's okay. Well, that light's okay. So if we run it maybe there. Now I'll take a screenshot, or I'll export the frame. Cheesing with the CD. I'll call that. That'll be in my project now somewhere. Cheesing with the CD. Yeah, whenever you take a screenshot in Premiere, it goes into your, I don't even know what that's called, like your project window, or it's just an overview of all the media you've used in the whole project. So we've got that, and I can actually just edit it in Adobe Photoshop. Sometimes this does crash my shit, but we'll see. Fuck, why am I stance like that? That hoodie, it's just because the hoodie is long. It's just a really long hoodie, okay? That's crazy. Oh, fuck off. Anyway, it's still a bit of a janky cut. If we just, first off, I'll just cut that out. Control C, Control V, just to copy and paste that layer. Delete that background one, just so we're down to this. I'll do Polygon Lasso tool, just to go around the outside vaguely, just to get it a bit closer. Maybe like that. Cut that out again, Control C, Control V. So we're down to that. Sometimes you can be really, not lazy, just efficient. Photoshop now has this thing in the properties window. It has quick actions, and growing up, I never had that. You'd always just use the lasso tool to manually chop around stuff, or the magnetic lasso tool, which I'll show you. You can draw, and it mostly does the right thing, but for low res stuff like this, it gets a bit confused. Oh, not even low res, low contrast, I guess. Because that's done an okay job, actually. That's done pretty good. I'll delete that. And that feathering, because you see that, I'm pointing at the screen again. That feathering that it's done around the hand, that'll probably look better in the edit, because this one I've done with no feathering. It's quite a harsh edge, but this is a quick one, so we'll see what happens. Export that as a PNG. It's like in a video game. You start interacting with them. It's like, oh, hey man, what's your personality? It's Mighty Mouse. It's Mighty Mouse. It's the Moon in Antarctica. It's actually a really good album. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I listen to this one a lot. I really like Wild Pack of Family Dogs. It's one of my favorite tracks on there. Anyway, fuck, I'm having too much fun. Okay, cool. So we've chopped that out, and now it's in my, not that one. It is in my project folder. Oh, and I fucked up there. Yeah. Okay, what I did there is I shouldn't have moved the playhead from the timeline, because where I took that snapshot is exactly where that frame is. So if I moved it to another part in the video and tried to put that hand on, I think it would look weird because it wasn't in the same place. So yeah, delete that layer. Okay, we've added cheesing with the CD hand, right? And I'm sure there would have been, there was a smarter way to do that, where I'd keep the playhead exactly where it looked right. I think if I line that up there, okay, see, so I've lined up my PNG of the hand, so it mostly lines up. It's maybe one frame back, but I've lined that up so it kind of works, right? So when I play it, that's this layer here, you see, that's the PNG I've chopped out. So if I zoom that out on Premiere Pro, just with Z minus, we'll zoom that out because I don't want that whole thing. We'll go from looking down, chop that with the little razor, delete the start, and I'll just move both of those to the beginning just to make it a bit tidier. So play that. Why am I making that face? Fuck it off. So make that face. Boom. So what I'll need to do, I think first off we'll use scale keyframes. So from when that comes in, what I'll do is I'll select the PNG of the hand holding the CD. We'll go into here, which is effect controls. This is where you change everything. Scale, you add effects. It's just kind of the editing menu for individual video files. And so from here, what I might do is just click this the little clock symbol right there is what is used for keyframes. And keyframes, all that means is it's just animation. So for example, if you're doing keyframes for scale, then you're just telling it, I want you to be this size at this point. So hence the clock. I want you to be this size here. And then you move down the timeline or through the video and you put another clock, another keyframe there of two different sizes. Then it'll grow or shrink to the pace you've set to reach that size, that different size at the point you've set further in the video. And I'll show you. So if we click that, you'll see on this little window here, and you can zoom in on that again with Z plus and use this little slider here to go left. Scratch that. Let's remove those and we'll move it a bit forward. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll make our first keyframe, so to speak. And when you click that, you'll see there's this little diamond here. That's your first keyframe. So for this, the first keyframe will be at this normal size at 100% scale, 100 scale here to fit the original video. So that's where we're at here. And then we'll want to add another keyframe by dragging this little playhead, because you'll see it's moving down the bottom here and here. It's because it's just playing along that video. And the cool thing about this window is you can drag it all the way to the other end and it'll stop at the end of your chosen source or the chosen video you're editing. So we'll go back to the start. We've got our keyframe for normal size, and then we'll add another keyframe just by clicking, another keyframe here, and I like to click it and highlight it so I know I'm editing that part, that keyframe. So we have two keyframes. Second keyframe is the scale you want it to grow to. So if we move this little toggle, you can either double click here and type in the exact number, but you can also just click and drag to scale it up or down. So I'll scale that up, yeah, maybe 150. And if I go to that point, okay, apologies. The reason you couldn't see that is because on the timeline here, I had it marked as invisible. So I'm going to do that again. So it's visible now, right? So we've got our first keyframe for normal scale. Just play a few seconds. Oh, yeah, a few seconds on, and then we'll click this little diamond to add or remove a keyframe. So keyframe, add the keyframe there, click it so it's highlighted. You can see it's highlighted because it's blue. And then we will scale that up to about maybe, let's make it a little theatrical. Let's make it quite big. Yeah, yeah, let's run that. See what happens. So now we've got keyframes that make it grow, right? So it's a bit slow. If we look at the original reference, it's quite quick. It's like boom, boom, quick. Okay, so let's try and match that. Let's go back into our effect controls. And the way to make a animation quicker is just to make the two keyframes closer together. So if maybe I half that, let's see how that looks. That'll do. That's enough. We could make it quicker, and all you'd have to do is drag those keyframes closer together, but for what we're doing, that's fine. So we've made it bigger, we've scaled it up, and it zooms in, pow, right? But as you can see, because there's no like anchor, it's zooming to a random place. It's no longer connected to my hand. To fix that, what we'll do is we'll line this up with our first scale keyframe. So just here on 100, and we'll add a keyframe again with the little toggle stopwatch into position. So this is left and right. This is up and down, these two numbers, or I think X and Y. I don't remember. Up and down, side to side. Select that first one. So that's the starting position. And then we'll just drag along to the end to the biggest point it goes, right? And so now we're going to tell it through keyframes. At the start, you're here, and by the time it's this size, I want you to be in another position in this video. So to do that, again, we will add a keyframe, and you see it's lined up with the scale one. So that's the point where it's big. And we'll select the position keyframe, and then we'll adjust it the left and right so that it's in line. Okay. It's not right because you can still see the smaller version. Okay, so what I might have done wrong there. Oh, it's just way bigger. It just goes right in the camera. So what I might actually do, and I can see what the mistake is here, because if you look at my video and her video, the cropping is way different, right? She's way bigger in the frame. So let's actually just go to my video and just do a little scaling. We'll just scale that in. Oh, that fucking starts, bro. It's crazy. And that's, no, not that big. Okay. Not that big. Maybe like that. Maybe like that's more similar to her video, right? We go between that and that. Yeah, that framing's a bit more similar. So closer to the camera, easier to make bigger, it makes more sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset those keyframes because nothing makes sense there now, I don't think. And we'll just do that process again. So we will clear those keyframes. If you want to clear and just start again with keyframes, and you will because you'll want to do that quite a lot, just click the little stopwatches again and they'll go from blue to just default discolored. That means you know there's no keyframes there. So let's move that. We're going to have to scale that now, which is a bit janky. It's okay. See, we had to scale that up to match, but that's cool. So we'll go there, and that's fine. It's slightly different, but it's growing anyway, so we won't worry about it. Add a scale keyframe, there, and add a position keyframe. And again, we'll just go, if we're continuing the motion, it'll be quite quick. So we'll add those extra ones. That second keyframe, select scale. We'll start with scale again, so we'll make that hand a lot bigger. And then again, let's just have a look at the reference. Pretty fucking huge. But for the book one, it's not that big, and that's kind of what I want to replicate. Like middle of the frame. Boom. Boom. Okay. So let's try that. Position again on that second keyframe. Now that it's bigger, we'll move that up. Why does it look like that? Okay. So it's not matching, but what I might do is actually just fucking rotate the hand a little so it's a bit more natural. Oh, that's cooked. Okay. Let's find out what's going wrong here. Okay. That's why. So it has to be continuing motion. So we'll make it grow before I've stopped moving. That was my problem. So from like here, and it has to be quicker. Okay. Right. And I have to change the starting position too. That's all good. So we'll select that first keyframe, move that hand down a bit. We'll see if that just works. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? And what they've done, they actually did a blur when, like a depth of field change. So the book comes into focus and the background becomes blurry, and we can replicate that. So I'm happy with it being a little bit jank just there. Does need to be quicker though. So again, to make that quicker, we will just bring those keyframes closer together. So let's just like half that time maybe. So that starting position is still cooked though, unfortunately. Let's fix that and make that position down a bit. Let's see. yeah, that'll do. So my mistake there was just the starting position. So now we can see, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And let's just see, if I just add a little rotation to that hand, let's just see how it looks. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Okay, cool. So I've got that. Look at my CD. And so to sort of trick that focal depth thing, I think what we might be able to do is do keyframes for a blur. So if we go into the effects and we just look up blur, let's do camera blur. We'll do a camera blur on the hand and a camera blur on the main video. And obviously when you drop it straight on, it's that pretty high blur. So we just drop that to 0 in the effects controls for now, and we'll keyframe that in as the other one grows. Do the same with the PNG of the hand and the CD. Okay, so I've got the sort of growing thing happening. What will I do first? I think what I'll do is I'll just match from when it first comes into focus as a PNG. So like here, so it's like, boom, pops in, a little bit janky, who cares? And we'll go to the blur effect on our base video, on our portrait phone video, the whole thing, not the hand PNG, the base video here in blue. And we'll go to our blur just here. And just like with scale, we can click % blur, the little stopwatch, and that'll trigger our first keyframe. And then we'll move it along to here, maybe one frame after or a couple frames after the movement stops. And we'll add another keyframe. And again, Z+ to zoom in, just to see those keyframes a little easier. That second keyframe will add the blur amount. So I don't think it has to be crazy. If we look at that reference again, it's not a huge amount of blur. It's probably, what, maybe 2 or 3 on the blur? Let's see. Yeah, maybe a 4. 4 is fine. And so what that'll do is, because we put keyframes, we want it to not just suddenly be blurry, we want it to move, like animate it, so to speak. So yeah, fuck it. Okay. You're looking at it now though, it is not really fast enough for my liking. So we're going to change those keyframes once more, and I'm just going to about half that, dragging back the scale, so the zoom and the position keyframes, so it matches, and we'll just see what that looks like. yeah, that's fine. And that means because we've changed that, we'll have to change the blur keyframes to match again, because we want it to mimic like zooming in on a camera and that sort of depth of field. So zoom in here, and from the start of the motion, or start of maybe like here, and then to when it is mostly zoomed in. Yeah, because it's faster, we'll do like maybe there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine. Look at my CD. Okay, what else happens in this one? The camera shake. Right. And I guess, so camera shake, like with anything, they would have shot this still, and then, and I think this is a big thing with special effects, you shoot it still and you add the motion later, because we've got one like fake layer, which is the book in the hand, and so it's quite convincing to have that and the background image of me moving in the same way, because it's hard to fake. Well, when special effects are done, it's more convincing if both elements have the same motion, because the brain doesn't go, oh, why is that one moving differently? It doesn't pick that out. So they're both got the exact same camera shake. That might do it. So what we'll do is we'll add camera shake to the base background and see what happens. So we just look up shake, go impact motion effects, camera shake. Just add that, and that's a bit fast. That's like walking to me. Right, auto scaling's fucking that up. So untick that. Okay. Yeah, that's actually fine. That one-handed one is fine. And I don't know, if I just replicate that and paste it onto the hand, I wonder if the motion will be the same. It's too much shaking. So if we just tone down the shaking, maybe stabilize up to 70. Yeah, it's good enough. I think what was off-putting there is that, the camera's only moving this much. So naturally, when it's closer to the camera, it should be less noticeable. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, so we've got that. What else is in this? You know what? I'm just going to rip that audio direct. Oops, that's, oh God. Okay, let's find where that comes in. Yeah. Oh, you probably can't hear it yet, but the sound's lining up. I just ripped the direct audio from that initial one. Cool. Yeah, that'll do it. And all they've done at the start here looks like some kind of motion blur transition. So if we just chuck that on this, hopefully they just have that like a spin, impact, blur, directional blur impact. Not really. It'll do. I don't really care that much. What you could do is actually put like you could keyframe it so that I'll do it. I'll show you what I mean. So you could do it so if we go to effect controls and put keyframes on position, and we'll do the starting position as off to the left, and then a few seconds in, add another keyframe and bring it in. It would be like that. It would be like, and I guess maybe what you'd bring in the, yeah, but you'd want, and you see it's a bit awkward because it's black at the start. I guess you could take a frame, export a frame again, and then put that frame, oops. You could put that frame at the start. Well, it would actually be underneath. So what we'll do is we'll move that up, and then put that screenshot beneath, and then maybe, what, blur it out, I guess? Blur it out. Yeah. And I guess what, if you started there, and maybe we'll add some camera shake to it, just to see what happens to that background blurred image. Let's just turn it up. Let's just make it go crazy. Let's make it like slow walk, maybe. Whatever. Oh no, because it broke the positioning. Okay, I'm control-Zing that bitch. I'm going way back. I'm not dealing with all that. Yeah. Okay. Too much. We'll leave it there. Yeah, that's fine. And voila. Thank you, Waddy Fuddy. That was a fun little exercise. 30 minutes. Jesus Christ. I thought it'd be a quick one. Props to their team, I guess. I'm also not that good, so it's probably why it took a long time. But yeah, kind of fun. I'll probably use it for something at some point. And you could fiddle around a lot more and make it match. And in After Effects, you can actually track motion. So you could say, actually put a little marker on my hand, track the motion, and then attach it to the PNG, so it's all automatic. But again, I didn't want to open After Effects, so it's kind of a cheap way to just run it in Premiere Pro. Yeah, hopefully that was useful in some way.